The year is coming to a close. It is December, and the year is basically done. It's basically finished. But how was your 2023? How did your year go? And you know what? I think something that we focus too much on is the New Year's resolutions. Is what are my new goals for the next year? What do I want to achieve next year? And yeah, sure, it's important to understand those stuff and to know what you need to get done in this year to come. But you know, I think we can't go every single year asking ourselves what we want to achieve in the next year if we haven't even just taken some time to look back and see what have we actually achieved in the current year. So I think today I just want to chat a bit about reviewing the year, reviewing the different quarters, reviewing your progress, why it's so important, and sort of tangible steps on how you can go about reviewing your year in order to maximize sort of this process, and of course to continue working towards your goals and build realistic New Year's resolutions. So I think first up, it only makes sense for me to start here, but why is reviewing so important? Why is self-review so important? Why is sort of going back and understanding how things went so important? And definitely it's a valid question. So I think first up, it helps put things in perspective for you. It helps, sort of helps you understand where you are in your life compared to where you want to be. And of course, I always know that, we're always going to be striving towards something. We're always going to be striving towards achieving something, getting to a goal, getting to a certain destination. But it's important for us to have perspective as to where we are currently in that journey. Where our current location is, and I think more importantly, what we've actually done in the year. Because if you just go year on year on year, essentially just doing the same old thing, essentially just going through it the same way that you've gone through it, and not really getting that perspective of where you are and what you need to do to get to where you want to be. If we're not doing that, then it's very easy to remain stagnant, and essentially just every single year you're essentially in the same position because you have no context as to where you are and essentially what you need to do to get to where you want to be. You just go year on year just setting the same resolutions, and then you go through the year, then you get to the end of the year, the same resolutions again. It doesn't make sense, guys. It doesn't make sense, for us to repeatedly do something over and over again. So I think that perspective and that understanding of where you are in your journey is so important. But I think in saying this as well, it's also very important to also just recognize your progress. The progress that you've made, which I think is leading me to my second point here. But understand that you have made progress. You have gone somewhere. You have done something. Because we get so consumed in the journey. We get so consumed in I have to get to here. I'm focused on getting there. I'm not there. I'm not, then it turns into sort of negative self-talk. I'm not there. It's too far. I'm not going to get there. I'm not moving anywhere. And I think if we get overly consumed in negative self-talk, in us sort of positioning ourselves to understand that we will never reach this goal that is too high, and not actually recognizing that we've reached previous goals that we've overlooked now because we're focused on the new goals. I think if we're just going year on year just criticizing ourselves, that will also result in you not making any progress. So it's so important to just look at the year through a positive lens. I think it's easy to be critical of yourself and say, I didn't do this, I should have done this, but sometimes a bit of self-care and a bit of just, being nice to yourself is needed. Really, I think I always say that you can literally be your best friend or your worst enemy why not be your best friend? Why not be that friend that encourages you? That friend that points out the positive things you've done. Also just, highlights sort of the weaker areas, but in a positive lens. Not to bash you, but to help you improve. So be that for yourself as well, guys. Look back on the journey, look back on the year. And I'd even say take out a piece of paper, do it on a laptop, wherever, but write it down. Write all the observations that you make down to make it more concrete, to help you understand better, in terms of what you've actually done, what you still need to do, and the positive things as well. So, yeah, guys, I mean, please take some time to just think back positively, look at your growth in the year, look at how far you've come, and even put that growth in context over your sort of lifetime and see where you were 5 years ago, where you were 3 years ago. Understand that, because having that context also just helps you validate for yourself that you can do this, that you can get your goals done, and you can sort of reach the area that you really want to reach. And I think that's what it's all about. It's all about putting action into play, getting things done, but also just instilling that motivation in yourself to continue getting things done, instilling that hunger, and sort of refueling yourself. So yes, and I think the third point that I want to touch on is that refueling, that I think December is a time to recharge. Of course, if you're going to work, yes, put in the work, but don't forget to just recharge, just re-energize yourself. Get yourself in that space that allows you to hit the ground running again in Jan, head down, and we're working again in the new year. But use this December to just get some rest. And I think it's easy for us to sort of connotate rest to sleeping and to doing nothing. It's not necessarily rest. I think a lot of what rest has to do with as well is just mental clarity, is decluttering your mind, is rejuvenating yourself. And of course, this can be done in a multitude of ways, whether it's doing the things you love, spending time with the people that you love, or just, getting yourself out of your normal space, your day-to-day space, your day-to-day city, and just, going somewhere else, that's a bit, out of the way, to just refresh your mind, refresh your perspective, and regain that energy and that sort of love for doing what you're doing. And I think another really important element of rest is, of course, and I touched on it, is that mental clarity. So just taking the time to, sort of get in touch with your spiritual side, whether it's through, meditation, which is what I do, whether it's through praying or any other means, but just, taking some quiet time alone and, just clearing your mind, sort of like a reset button. And I'll use the example of a laptop. When our laptop, perhaps, if we don't clear the cache of a certain application, or if we don't refresh our laptop, if we don't switch it off, if we leave it on, if we leave the applications running, if we leave all the tabs in Google Chrome open, if we're doing all this, guys, our laptop's life is it's decreased. And after some time as well, you'll see your laptop starts to slow down. Its functionalities start to slow down. And that's the exact same thing that happens with our mind. I think when you don't declutter your mind, when you don't refresh your mind, when you don't close down all the applications in your mind will start slowing down, And I think this is where, sort of burnout starts to happen. So understand that in yourself, that you do need this time to refresh your mind, to re-energize yourself, and to sort of position yourself to where you need to be to start the new year on a very strong note. So yeah, I thought, let me just touch on these few things. I think it's easy to get into the sort of hype of December, but not really just put in that, sort of work for ourselves and reposition ourselves for the future. I think there's so much hype on New Year's resolutions and next year this needs to happen, but what about this year? What happened this year? And are you refreshed? Are you ready for next year? I think those are also questions that we need to just ponder. We need to ask ourselves as well. So yeah, I mean, this is actually the first video of this new channel. I just thought, you know what, let me touch on this because I think it's something that's helped me out so much. I definitely think it's something that can help you out. Just add value to your own life as well. And I sincerely hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you know you got something out of it, as little as it may have been. I hope you got some value. If you did, of course, please just leave a like. If you're not subscribed, as always, guys, please do subscribe to the channel. And until the next one, let's continue on our journey in creating a better world.